Alright guys, welcome back to another Super video here with Chris, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a red Beerus deck that I've been testing, I think now since maybe a little bit like in the middle of December, and I do think this leader is super fun. Competitive, yes, I think it can be. I think it really just depends on kind of the pilot necessarily, and some RNG with a few cards, making sure that you're hitting some of the right stuff. But this leader is extremely fun. If you guys don't know what this leader is, this is Beerus Furious Strike. This is from set 9. And this was a set where red and yellow was kind of the main focus point of the deck, or of the set, and that's what the deck really revolves around, is incorporating red and yellow cards into the deck. And obviously this leader came out before Unisons did, so a little bit of a different build than probably when the original deck came out. So this is I think it's a 55 card list, 56 cards, but you draw so many cards that your card amount, sorry, I'm gonna turn my light off here a little bit. The card amount actually doesn't matter, because you're gonna cycle through your entire deck anyway. So what the leader does on the front side: activate main, you choose one red or yellow card in your hand, pitch it, and then draw 2. And what's great about this card is that on turn 0, so basically when you charge, you get the plus. And any leader that I feel like any leader that draws without having to attack is very powerful, just because you are not giving your opponent necessarily more advantage than you normally would. And going first allows you also to gain hand advantage very early, especially in matchups like Cell Surge, where Cell Surge isn't going to attack you either, so they're just going to reoccur value. And this way you actually can draw and not have to attack them, so that way they get down to be able to use their awaken ability a little bit earlier. So you awaken at 4 life, and you are restraining 2 leader, which is very important. On this side, you have 2 activate mains. First activate main, or actually an activate main and activate battle. The activate main is for 1 yellow and 1 red. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. It's very powerful. So you just choose any battle card on board, and you can get rid of it for 2 energy. Not something you're going to do a lot, because we don't really want to be tapping 2 energy for that, but it is something that you have the ability to do just kind of as a utility factor. Activate main, you choose 1 red and yellow multicolor card in your drop area and combo with it. And this is, I think, where Android 16 got the where they got the idea for Android 16 leader, which has the same ability, but it combos with a blue and green card from the drop area. So this is very powerful. It's kind of like an early version of what the 16 idea was. So now, list here, so we'll start with some of the most important cards in the deck, which are the Self-Awakeners, which we have the Whis Godly Fundamentals and Whis Ethereal Guidance. So these are your Self-Awakeners. Whis Godly Fundamental is, when this card's in the drop, you can send it to the warp to take up to 1 life and neg one of your opponent's battle cards by 5k. What's great is that it's not once per turn, so your leader, you can pitch this off of your leader to draw 2, and then warp this card from the drop, and then you get to take a life. Very similar to the Dark Parasite card in Cell Surge, which does the very similar thing, but it also draws a card from the deck. So if you had 4 of these in your drop area and you're at 8 life, you can just activate main 4 times, take 4 life, and then neg a battle card by 20, and then you can awaken. Not saying that you'd be able to, you would want to do that in 1 turn, but it is, a possible play. But we do run 4 of those, also because it's a mono red card, and we do run majority mono red in the deck. These 2 are Ethereal Guidance. This is a champ card from a very long time ago, but when this card is pitched from your hand, if your leader is a red god, pitched from your hand using a leader skill, you take a life, and then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards and switch to the rest mode. It's a good card. The problem is that you have to take a life, so you don't get to choose like you do with this card. So whenever you pitch this card, you have to take a life, and that sometimes becomes a problem. So we run 2. I think 2 is fine. It also has a second effect. When you combo with this from the drop area, you can tap 1 red to give this card an extra 5k for combo power, making it a 15k, and then at the end of the turn, at the end of the battle, it goes to the warp. So that way you can't reuse it. But this is pretty cool. This is just a way for us to be able to self-awaken. Also, the tapping effect is very powerful to get around some blockers. Maybe tap a BMS, tap some other cards, that way you can get rid of them on board. This also can do the same thing, just being able to, just minus 5k any battle card on board. So those are the Awakeners. And since we are playing red-yellow, we do run 4 of the Whis checklands. You cycle a lot, so you should be able to see one of these. Realistically, you want to charge a red-yellow, which we run about, I think it's 10 red-yellow multicolor cards in the deck. It's not a ton. Generally, turn one, we want to charge this, pitch something to draw, and then we're basically good for red-yellow for the rest of the game. We just need at least one red-yellow card in the energy, and you can end up running more, but the problem is that since this deck doesn't have a good way of being able to manipulate energy, the deck can get kind of heavy if you have way too many 10Ks in your hand. And that's a problem that I did find with just testing, is that you do have to make sure you have combo power, and also keeping one of these multicolor in the drop is good too. That way you always have 10K that you can use. Currently running 4 of the Wii Super combos. Actually, I think we run we run I think 13 multicolor cards, actually, red yellow multicolor cards. If your leader is red or yellow, you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, you negate by 10K for the turn. Very good against decks that like to have dual attackers or cards that can restand. You can just negate by 10. This is technically a 20K combo, since it gives your leader plus 10, and or gives the card plus 10, then you can minus a battle card by 10 for the turn. So if you have like a Fighting Against Fates or something that like I said, and that can restand and attack again, you can use this to make it a 15 or a 10 or whatever for the turn. Makes it a little bit easier to deal with. And then on this side, you can then combo with this card from the drop area for 10K for free. So essentially, it's like a 30K combo. I wish it gained the 10K, the minus 10K from the drop. That'd be pretty broken, but just doing it from the hand is still pretty good. And then 2 Beerus, the rival Beeruses. This is I think it's called Unceasing Rage. It's a rival red yellow for 1 red. Comes into play, draws you a card, and then negs 2 battle cards in rest mode by 10K, which is pretty good. Again, just another way to be able to, between this and this, you can neg a battle card by 20, and it makes it very difficult for your opponent to actually be able to do anything. And I think this also does it for the turn as well. Yes, this also does it for the turn as well. So your opponent's swinging with like I said, a dual attacker, minuses by 10. Then the Beerus comes in, minuses it by 10 again. You draw a card, and then you can combo with this from your drop area. Again, if they decide to attack. So this also has a second effect for 1 red and yellow, and then a colorless. You choose all your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and choose all your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, and then they get minus 20K for the turn. This card gains 5K in triple strike, making it a 25K, which is very important for a particular card that we do run in the deck. So those are the bulk of the multicolors. I run 4 Piccolo Unisons. This is our ideal turn 2 play, being able to go into this, having a draw engine, since our leader does not draw on the Awakened side. This is kind of like our 4-drop Boo in Android 16. Same kind of concept. The auto effect is also very good as well, being able to just pop any battle card 15K or less when they activate counters. Makes this deck very suitable against decks like Yellow, who love to play the Mecha Freeze and Negate, love to play the token negates. You can just pop everything. It makes it very easy to deal with stuff. You also have your Yamcha, since we are running Unison, negging 2 battle cards by 15K for the turn, also very powerful. People still don't know that you can actually neg something with this when it comes into play if it's like a battle card counter, and then you can use this to pop something afterwards. Since this is an auto, this triggers first, so it's a pretty cool thing. But between this, and this, you can basically neg any battle card from 30K down and just make their attack very obsolete. So then we get to some of the 1-drops. So we run 3 Beerus. What's this called? Biding Its Time, I think. Yeah, Biding Its Time. So he's the original cost of 3, but he comes into play for 1 if you have a red-yellow multicolor card in the energy. So he becomes a 1-cost red, and he's a 15K crit unique. So very, very powerful card, being able to just play this guy out for 1 energy and then swing for 15K crit. Turn 2. Very, 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 very good. I love this card. I wish it didn't have the weird permanent where it was unique. It would make this card much better, but also would make it a little unfair too. So this is one of the main 1-drops we run. The other 1-drops, we have 3 Son Goku Legends Personified and 2 Basil Fatal Rampage. We probably know what Basil does, but both of these cards are 1-drop cantrips. They both draw a card. Basil. When your opponent has 5 cards or less, or 5 cards or more in rest mode, you can activate main, give it 15k in dual attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. And this guy, kind of the same idea, Bond 3. Bond 3 is just for having 2 other battle cards in play. He gains 21k until the start of your next main phase, making him a 25k as well. So very, very powerful for 1 energy. These are all very, very just powerful 1-drops that you can have to swing over things and just to, you know, apply pressure. Since we are a red deck, we are running Divine Presence. Another very, very powerful card. Since our leader does activate battle once per turn, we can combo with a multicolor from the drop and then combo with a red card from our hand, which then allows us to tap 2 to play Divine Presence. For 2 energy, gives the card 5k, cannot be removed on your turn, which is also very, very fantastic. 20k deflect, dual attack, and then also in an attack. The bottom deck's a red skillless, which we don't have in the deck, but he also gives himself 5k, which is also unique because it also makes him a 25k, right? Which is all very, very important because we do run Heartfelt Plea. So Heartfelt Plea is great. It got reduced to 1, which I do think is fair, but it'd be much, much better to have this card at like a 3 of or a 4 of. So you can play them out for free when you awaken. You just sack off a battle card that's 25k power, a red battle card that's 25k power or more. You play them for free. So technically the Beerus here can make himself a 25k. You have Legends Personified, which is our main target. He becomes a 25k. And also Divine Presence also becomes a 25k as well. So you have 3 different targets. Realistically, this is probably the best target because for 1 energy, you're drawing a card, and then you're making him 25k. You swing at them for 25, and then awaken, sack him off, and then play Heartfelt Plea. So Heartfelt Plea has Offering, which is a very overpowered keyword skill. Bandai's done a very good job of not printing extremely broken Offering cards yet, except for maybe like the Baby Janempa that goes in AOD. But Offering, your opponent chooses to either crit a life or you draw 2. So essentially, most people are not going to crit, especially if they're at 4 life, because this card will come down. If they crit, now this is a 30k triple strike swinging at their face. And it's really easy to end games off of this if your opponent's not prepared for it. But I will. This is probably one of my favorite cards ever printed in the game, just because I think this is one of the first SRs that I ever pulled playing Dragon Ball. So card always going to hold a special place in my heart. But we run the one of the Heartfelt Plea. Another one of, which is kind of a weird one of, is Champa the Trickster. Since we are a multicolor deck, he becomes a 2-cost. He's a counterplay, and then the auto chooses one of your opponent's battle cards with ignoring barriers, switch to the rest mode. And if it's your opponent's turn, you get to draw a card. So when your opponent plays a big boss monster with Deflect, you can play this guy out. Comes into play. As long as it hits the board, you're going to be able to tap that battle card. It doesn't matter if it has Deflect because the counterplay effect is just playing the card. The auto is what takes place, and Deflect does not get around autos. So very, very cool card. We would run a 1 of there. 2 Kaioken. It's a red. It's a mono red card. You also can play it out for 3 to KO everything on your opponent's board, 20k power or less. Very good. Also tap 2 to minus 25k ignoring barrier at any one particular battle card. So we mainly run this because it's a red card. But it does get us out of some sticky situations if we need to, where we can just tap 3, play it, wipe the board, awaken, and now we have energy up for defensive plays. Defensive plays like Topo, which we do run also in the deck. It's also another mono red card. Play it out. Opponent has to pitch 2 every time they attack. Will be a solid red card probably for until the end of the game. The end of the game's existence. For some more defense, we run 3 Violent Rays and 2 Testing the Ops. Just some extra defense. That way we can deal with basically anything that our opponent throws at us. Being able to stop unisons and battle cards over 20k or 20k depending on which one you choose, and then being able to block 2 cards, also take life with this, is also very powerful. So we do have some more mono yellow cards in the deck, which are going to be 4 Bardock the Eliminators and 2 Draw Apes. So 6 total quote-unquote draw monkeys. These are all just pitchable off of your leader. So being able to pitch this to draw 2 and then tap 1 to draw another card is just extremely plus. Let me put the cool gold stamp guy on the top. This is also there as well, just for 2 energy. Not as valuable, honestly, in this deck, because 2 energy is a lot for us to be able to, to use. But the 1 energy from Bardock is extremely good. This is just here also just for in the main deck. If we deal with like a hand destruction deck, we're gonna be able to tap 2 for this and get some value out of it. So, but this is basically a tap 2, draw 4. Since our leader draws 2, and then we can tap 2 to draw 2 off of this. Very, very good. And then we go to the red staple one of, so 1 Champa for double strike. 1 Fighting Against Fates, since we are considered an aggro deck, like turn 4, turn 3, turn 4, or like a mid-range aggro deck, I guess. So like turn 4 is kind of our kill turn, which we can set up either a Legend Personified or a Divine Presence on that turn. You know, swing, do all that kind of stuff, awaken, sack them off, Heartfelt Plea, and then between Heartfelt Plea, leader, unison, any counter plays that we already have on the field, Fighting Against Fates, and then as well as the 1 of New Ruler, we can just swing way too much for most decks to actually deal with. I think we've swung maybe 7 or 8 times on turn 4, with like actually like 6 or 7 battle cards, which ends up becoming very difficult for a lot of decks to deal with unless they have some sort of floodgate that they can establish. But one way we do deal with the floodgates is going to be Almighty Resistance. This is a card that was forgotten about in Dragon Ball. This card came out actually with the Surge Goku leader, and no one really played it. It just kind of sat there. And as I was looking for something to really help the Heartfelt Plea hit the board, I found this card, and it instantly became an addition. I would definitely probably side deck a second one, maybe even a third. But as a 2-drop counter, you pitch a yellow card from your hand, and then you can, if your leader's red and you pitch a yellow card, you negate the counter, or you negate the counterattack skill of whatever card that's being, you know, presented in that counter window. So when we hit our Heartfelt and our opponent decides to Cold Bloodlust or Arrested or Charismatic or whatever, we can hit him with this. We also, when we play this guy out for free and we swing for 30 triple strike, we can also, when they decide to dormant or negate or whatever, we just Almighty Resistance, right? And then that opens up a wave of other attacks, whether it's, you know, this guy, 2 swings from this, maybe a Basil, maybe the Beerus, you know, unison, leader, and then you have your Fighting Against Fates and New Ruler. It just ends up becoming a lot of swings that you really can't deal with. The secret rare would be Pan. I think is probably the best one for the deck since it is a free play. But I don't have Pan, so we run Kai, because Kai is still awesome. For 1 energy, you get a 40k body, and sometimes that's still just enough to deal with stuff. The Pan would be a little bit better just because it is a free play, which then makes your Pan Champa play 1 energy instead of the Pan Kai play being 2 energy, potentially 3 for the board wipe. So, but this is, like I said, one of the best red decks that I've kind of come across of building. I don't want to say I'm the creator of this deck or nothing, but I definitely haven't seen anybody playing this deck. I've seen maybe one deck, like one deck profile in the last, you know, month of this deck. So I was kind of searching through some red decks to play that weren't King Piccolo, because I really do enjoy playing King Piccolo, but I wanted to find something else that I could enjoy playing that was red. And this deck is extremely fun. There's some other techs that we can go through. I'll probably wait till I play in a more formidable tournament with it, because I do think I will end up doing that. I just have to find kind of the right ratio of some of the multicolor cards. Side decking is very fun as well, because you can play a lot of the really good red and yellow cards, i.e. The Lord Slug package. Lord Slug being a not leader lock to yellow is very, very powerful, just costing yellow energy, which we do charge yellow anyways. So being able to play Lord Slug is also a possibility. I may actually think about that going into the future. But this is what I got for you guys today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the list. If you guys have any questions, you know, obviously post those down below. Any feedback or anything is always, you know, looked at. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.